What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. This weekend I watched Wind River.
Luck don't live out here.
Super quick, the Stardust app. Please, guys, download this app, get on there, make an account, follow me. This is literally an app. You react, you review, you rate movies, you do all of these wonderful things with movies, television shows, and trailers. So if you don't have it yet, why not? So Wind River is written and directed by Taylor Sheridan, the guy who brought us Hell or High Water and Sicario. He actually wrote those films. This movie he directed. Now let's talk about what I liked about Wind River. Around the 25 to 30 minute mark of this movie is when I really started to get invested in caring about the characters. I thought the dialogue was so sharp. I thought the storyline really picked up, and once it picked up, it took us on a ride that I really think is going to be memorable by the end of the year. It reminded me somewhat of Hell or High Water. It does not live up to that movie, but it was a really nice story that I could sink my teeth into and really just get involved with these characters, and for that I'm very grateful that Taylor Sheridan brought that to us. The performances here are very strong. Jeremy Renner brings us what I believe is one of the best of his career. He did a phenomenal job of delivering this dialogue, making us believe that he was this character and getting us invested into his backstory. And when an actor as big as Jeremy Renner, not that he's the star of all of his movies, but he's a pretty famous name at this point, when somebody as big as he can get us invested and make us forget that this is Jeremy Renner, I really respect that, and I thought he brought a lot to this movie, and I do believe without him, this is weird to say, but without Jeremy Renner, this movie would not have worked. Elizabeth Olsen, good as always, a different character than what I was expecting, but she was really good. I thought all the side characters here were great. The guys who played the Native Americans, you get a little Hell or High Water cameo in here too, which I thought was really cool, but these characters were all really good, and that's based off of the performances that were given, and because of that, I was really invested in this movie at one point. This film also brings some things to light that I believe are very important. Some things that maybe make you feel uncomfortable at times. Some things that are a little bit graphic, maybe a little bit, make you cringe a little bit. But overall, I think it's important that these ideas and concepts can be talked about in a way that is entertaining, but not because you're wanting to see what happens next, just because you're really invested into this storyline, into what is based on a true story. And that is really sad. I'm not going to get into the details, but it's sad to think that something like this could have actually happened. But it's wonderful to think that something like this was told in a way that was so well and so fresh on screen, and for that I think Taylor Sheridan did a wonderful job in his first ever directing debut. That's awesome. My last point in the good is the sound design was fantastic. I thought the gunshots were great. The heart-throbbing nature of the sounds that were coming from when they were riding in the snow, I thought it was wonderful, and overall I think that really enhanced my experience and made this movie what it was. Okay, so this is Taylor Sheridan's first ever movie, and I can tell at times there's some flaws within the directing. I think it's a little choppy in the beginning, and like I said, I was invested about 30 minutes in, but the first 20, 25, 30 minutes, I was not invested. I was trying to get on board. I could not get on board. This whole backstory with Jeremy Renner's character, while it should have grabbed me, I think it was beginning to grab me, but by the end of the movie, these very tiny plot lines that are set up, you don't get the payoff that you want. You don't get the payoff with this plot line, this plot line, this plot line, and I think that's something that a Hell or High Water or a Sicario brought us more so than this movie, but I will put this movie on the same level of Sicario for me personally, just because I thought the story itself was pretty engaging. I just wanted to see more payoff with some of the small plot lines, but did they really matter in the end when it came to the true meat of the story? While I thought the score was really good, there was one part of the score that turned from music to an actual song with a guy singing while this was going on screen, and I thought that kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. I would have rather have just had that score and that music without the guy singing in it turning into, I don't really know what it was at that point, but it was just kind of weird. Most of these are small nitpicks, and I do believe that Taylor Sheridan did a wonderful job of directing his first movie ever, and because of that, I'm going to say Wind River is definitely a good time at the movies. Alright guys, enough babbling. I'm going to score this thing. I'm going to give it an 81%, a very good time at the theater. Had some minor flaws, but overall I definitely recommend it. So what did you guys think of Wind River? If you haven't seen it, you should definitely find a theater that is playing this movie. Thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. You all are the absolute best, and I will catch you later.